you want to learn about how to predict times, those speeds tell you everything. And exit, let's see if we can get a good exit over. Yeah, great crossover. Hefty. Not real enthused about a track like Altenberg. But boy, he's got some speed and some time. Look at these lines. Oh, he's not clean though. Speeds 112.1.
Well, on this soft ice, they'll be using much fatter runners on the back, perhaps, than they've trained on to stop them digging in so much, and that makes them skid across the wet ice.
He's flying.
Good speed, 70.3 miles an hour. At the bottom, Volta was 120, 119.8. Not quite there, but he's going to have enough of the line to lead by maybe 11, 12 hundredths of a second. 210, so he kept the speed on board.
You know, I think that's just Hefty. First of all, Hefty was happy to see Lake Placid in his rearview mirror. Calgary, now he's back. After he gets this track out of the way, I predict he's going to win a couple events. Innsbruck, on his way to Winterberg, where the last two events in the last two times in the World Cup, he's won those events, so bodes well for the World Championships here. Little skid on the exit of 9.
Didn't panic, knew it was coming back.
Yeah, and he's on the wrong side of the straightaway coming into the take-on of the Kreisel. Good lines. Look, just keep your eyes on that DKB logo and how far the sled's below that. That'll determine how far he rises on the second pressure point.
Bad Hefty leads here, first two of our 24 sleds down. Next up, a rookie in the World Cup and a first-timer here, Cody Basque. Of the 6 American pilots, 5 of them crashed in training. Basque several times. Let's hope he's got a handle on this with new brakeman Carlo Valdez behind him, making his first World Cup start.
Two-man, Valdez, he's from Newport Beach, California. He's a track guy, javelin thrower. He's a high school track coach. Boy, the start time, real deficient. But give Cody Basque credit. I think he's been over at least twice. Oh, that's a mistake there. If not 3 times this week, but he qualified. He made 2 successful trips in 4-man, 2 successful trips in 2-man. They had a paid training day on Monday. That's where I think the first incident happened. But hey, there was at least 18 crashes, I think it was, in practice this week.
Got safely out of 9. That was the nemesis of everybody in training around the Kreisel. 110.4, 3 kilometers down on the fastest speeds. This is his first time ever on this track. He's been in Altenberg less than a week.
He's 20 years old. Second down. This is pretty good. Ooh, he's late there. 15, 16. Whoa.
Well, look, it's a tough driver's track. You need your timing to be absolutely spot on. And these are conditions they've not seen all week. It's been fast and icy. Now it's slick and wet. This is a totally different place.
Yeah, well, you can carve up your place down the track. Look at the way he's bringing it in here. It's, you know, it's soft ice. But hey, this is a young 20-year-old running with the big dogs. And, you know, this is not just something you can come and pick up here on this track. Okay, comes out at 9, way too early. Now he hits, he's corrected, okay, no, but the back end of his sled's coming out. But watch this. He's coming out of here too late. He's made a mistake probably on the entrance, let the sled get up too high. Watch the 2 runners. Now watch the way the sled articulation. Look at the way the sled splits, see that? That's when the sled walks on and off the corners with the articulation. He was walking off the corner pretty late there.
Yes, he was, but safely down again. Matthias Trubner there watching the action from trackside. Long-time German bobsled coach as Justin Cripps gets ready for his first ever racing start on this track with Ben Coatwell. Cripps had never been here as a driver either. But I'm not sure whether he came here as a brakeman or not.
Yeah, he was here as a brakeman.
Yeah.
Canadians, a lot of good success on this track over the years. 5:31. That doesn't lead to success there. Start to TC's almost 3/4 of a kilometer down in start speed. So now he's got to be perfect, and it's tough to have perfect on a track that you just came to. He's probably got 10 trips down it now. Look at the ice glisten.
Still wet. And where it's not glistening, it's frosty because the refrigeration is on so hard. So you stick on the flat bits and you skate across the wet bits. Nice run, 11 and 12. That was really nice transition. 109.8. Let's see if he can add to that at the bottom.
Well, there's just too much grip on the runners. You can really steer yourself around here, and you don't want to steer. It's not the guy who steers the most that wins. It's the guy who steers the least.
57.33 slide for Justin Cripps, and on this wet track, John, we're probably going to see more margin of error for the less experienced drivers. The gaps between the front runners and the other drivers are going to be larger.
Not a very good run for Justin Cripps. This is the guy that won the event last year in Koenigsegg, where we go next week.
Exactly right.
And
he's first ever World Cup win.
He's behind Cody Basque, so this didn't really help his cause.
Ooh, hits the
real
little
hard.
fillet in the ice there where the wall comes out to you.
And this is friction. Friction is the #1 enemy of a bobsled team. Look at the way the
cowl vibrates.
I tell you how great of pictures those are.
Well, Nico Walter of Germany is second to Bert Hefty at the moment, and now another local hero, our reigning two-man world champion from Pirna, just up the road, Francesco Friedrich, with Torsten Margis behind him.
Torsten Margis has a Kevin Kuska type build. There's a great start time. There's the former junior world champion, 2011, the world champion in 2013. He's another young German pilot. We could see another 2 or 3 Olympics of.
Race winner in Lake Placid, runner-up in Calgary.
Big mistake there.
He's in the red by 500s. The next clock could be up to 1500s. Great straightaway down, 2600s. 110.5. Hefty was 113.
Ooh, he's high there too. It's not a very good run for a German on his home track. I think we'll see Christoph Langen really shaking his head.
Good speed on the exit of 11 and 12. 118.2 is decent speed, not as quick as the top two. But this is enough to put him third.
58, look at Langen though.
Yeah.
What is going on? He had a problem yesterday with women's bobsledders. Kathleen Martini went from second. She finished up fourth, lost a medal, and she's perplexed.
Well, and that was off a couple of clean runs. Friedrich definitely didn't have the clean run. We saw the mistakes, and he'll know them.
Let's hear what he says. Is Coach Reddy Spies? No. Good atmosphere there at the bottom.
Good wind for the flags to blow in as well. You can really hear how windy it is.
The trees behind it blowing, but watch this mistake through 11 and 12. This wasn't too bad. His mistakes up top, though, in 7 to 8 to 9. Very uncharacteristic. Can we see the brakeman back there? Yeah, we see some shoulders. So important to get you. Look at Spies. What a great driver he was on the right. Telling him exactly what he just did. He just saw it and right into the computer. Press save.
Top 5 so far. Bert Hefty, Nico Walter, the local boy ahead of Francesco Friedrich, also from the Altenberg Bob Club. Next up, another first-timer here. USA's Nick Cunningham has never driven this track before this week.
Ben here as a brakeman. Boy, they ran a long ways right here.
It's such a long, flat start. You've got to run it out. 5:37, giving away 2/10 to the front runners, though.
Even 400s behind his teammate Cody Basque just makes the worst possible error.
Cunningham didn't look like he was running entirely healthily at the start.
Crashed the 2-man. Didn't crash his night train 4-man at all. But boy, that mistake he made up there, he'll be lucky to beat anybody. Oh,
We go 110 into the Kreisel. Top speeds have been 112.
Tap. I won't bother him. Carves himself around. Boy, he is just...
Good speed on the exit, though. He held his speed through the Kreisel.
That
what
was
can he
late.
find? Oh, huge
Watch
skid.
out here. Boy, he had to do a lot of carving there, too. Boy, that mistake in 13.
And that's going to leave him in 6th place at the moment, 57.42.
2400s behind Cody Basque.
Well, listen, your first race weekend here, you're only ever going to make mistakes. And the key thing is that you're getting the experience, and every time you make a mistake, hopefully you'll learn from it and eradicate that.
Well, he had the 6th best start time. He had the 6th best down time. We keep reflecting that. Here's a mistake. Forget it. It's over. This is curve 2 to 3.
Yeah, it's the short wall between 1 and 2.
Forget it. I mean, then he's down to 13, 14. Steered out of there way too early.
And look at the water.
Yeah, this is...
that is just spray. That's not even ice. That's just water.
Still, there's a lot of friction there. Not happy.
He'll get back on the horse and have another trip, hopefully. Next up is the top Russian, Alexander Kasyanov. Alexei Pushkarev behind him. And Kasyanov really stepping up as Russia's #1 this year.
Alex is one of those guys that likes the two-man better, or the four-man better than the two-man. Gives up a lot of time at the start. But when we had him in our headshot room in Lake Placid, we asked him a bunch of questions, did a little profile on him. And all he wanted to do was point at the camera and said, "Watch me, big year."
Yeah.
And he went out in the four-man race and lost the four-man by 1/100 of a second to Melbardis, or to Max Arndt. So I think we're going to see this guy more success in the four-man.
Well, 4th place in Calgary in the two-man as well, so that wasn't a bad trick from him. But the four-man is much more planted for a driver, and I think he likes that feeling better. 1:12 on the exit is good speed. 4th place at the moment.
That's pretty much where he's going to finish up here. Way ahead of the American-Canadian sleds.
Oh, not too far behind Francesco Friedrich, though. Just a 10th off the medals at the moment.
And Francisco Friedrich beat him by 1700ths at the start. But Friedrich had a bad run.
Yeah.
It's okay. His day's tomorrow. Four-man. Put a bet down for him to be on that podium.
I think he's definite podium material.
Yeah. Here in the two-man. Gives up too much time to be competitive with the small sled. Settles in. Look at the runner tips here. This is the exit at 13. He's on the wrong side. He's got to get over to the left side. He's trying to get over here. Look at him play with the runners. He's trying to get the sled over to the left. He does. Gets over onto the take-on, but to do that, it costs you a lot of time. It costs you to get over there.
Switzerland's Rico Peter next up with Bro van der Zijde, the former Dutch brakeman, making his first World Cup start in the two-man.
It's all about the start for Rico Peter. He doesn't get the best. 5:22. That's not too bad, though. Wow. Wow, I take that back. He's been driving great. Started coming on last year. Good exit, 4 to 5, 6, 7. Not bad. Watch the runner tips here. The exit of 9. Look at this. Should be coming straight at us. Voila, that's excellent. Speed, pretty good. The sled, his teammates in the lead. The sleds, City of Sleds are flying. 112. There, as soon as I said he hasn't touched, he banged him. Take on 14, 15. This isn't bad.
3rd place run,
Yeah.
Rico Peter, 4800ths off the lead, a 10th in front of Francesco Friedrich.
I think he's the real deal. He got that 3rd best start time. I give him credit. I never thought he'd be a person who could start in the top 3.
4th in the World Cup rankings. He's not been out of the top 6 so far this season, and that looks like another top 6 run.
I'd put a bet down right now. He's got a chance to win a medal at St. Moritz.
If there's any ice left.
Yeah.
They need some winter soon in Europe.
It's unbelievable. We're sliding on this track with when we came here at 6, 7 o'clock this morning, the rain and the...
Yep. Well, St. Moritz, the race today was called off. Not enough ice. Plus 9 degrees in St. Moritz. It's normally minus 18.
Uh-oh, here we go.
So, joint World Cup leader, Oskars Melbardis, silver medal in Lake Placid, gold medal in Calgary. And that's just in the two-man. He's been having a real standout season so far in the four-man as well.
The 2 biggest dudes in the competition. Dalman Driesman's on the back. Basketball player. Driver Melbardis, former decathlete. These guys swept Calgary 1-2 in the fourth. Oh, he's already in red numbers. 5:14 start to be in the red numbers. That's not good. He's going to continue to lose more time. He wants to keep it within 10-15 hundredths here.
Don't forget, he's in the same two-man design as the BTC Latvia sled that the Belgian girls used yesterday, and they produce fantastic speed at the bottom. 1:11.4's not brilliant.
113 is what he's going to need. He doesn't have that, so this looks like fourth place.
Let's see what the numbers are down the bottom.
30. He's got a chance for third.
1:18.7,
That's
third
good.
fastest at that speed.
Yeah, this is bronze.
Into third place, 38 hundredths off the leader, a 10th in front of Rico Peter.
Something happened to him up top because he went for with that #1 start of 5:14. He was in red numbers immediately.
Yeah.
So something happened up there around curve 3.
But it only takes a little skid when you're doing 20 or 30 miles an hour to rub off so much of that speed.
He didn't know. See, he said something. This is in the Kreisel. Watch him. The DKB logo. He's right below it perfectly. Second pressure point is coming up. Now he looks for that red flag that tells him I better steer off of here. And then here's 14. Look at, for a big man, look how low he is sitting in that sled. His eyes barely above the caliper.
Yep.
And that's a big boy.
And half the time, they won't even need to look where they're going. They'll just know. A man who knows his way down this track. Plenty of visits here for Stephen Holcomb. Two-man bronze medalist in the Winter Games. Gold medalist in 2012 in the World Championships in the two-man.
Holcomb's been haunted by a bad start. There's the 9th guy down the track. He's got the only person worse than him at the start is his teammate, Nick Cunningham. So the United States just doesn't have the start times that it had last year's Sochi Games.
Well, it's almost entirely new crew. Justin Olsen's the only man who was on a Night Crane crew before that remains in the team. So they're bringing on the new talent.
You have the deficient start times. You got to have the good drive.
Well, Holcomb's often said that when he's won races, especially with the foreman. He said, these guys give me the speed I need that I can get away with the odd mistake.
He's fighting to try and beat his teammate, Cody Bascu.
He doesn't beat Bascu, who is the top American in 7th place.
Cody Bascu was the 3rd guy off the track. The track's really deteriorating.
I think you're absolutely right.
The track's really deteriorating.
Guys down in the 15 to 24 spot, they're going to have no ice to play with.
Yeah. All 3 U.S. sleds, though, 7th, 8th, 9th at the start. That's not, in fact, 7, 9, and 10. That's not going to do it.
Well, that's 10 of our 24 sleds down, and it remains to be seen just how much the ice surface will deteriorate. It doesn't have to soften by much to make a few hundredths difference with every few meters.
Mistakes driving, you can make mistakes driving when you got good start times, like Alana Myers, but when you don't have good start times, this could line here, though. Holcomb's done very well on this track.
Well, talked to him after training. He said, I might be jinxing myself, but he said, I'm not sure I've been on Altenberg where it felt better. That was before the rain came. Bernd Hefty, our race leader from Nico Walter and Oscar's Melbardis. Don't see too many of our remaining 14 sleds challenging those front runners. We'll have to wait and see what happens. Well, you can see sun and cloud shadows scudding across the hillside. I know, I mean...
Is that a paint? Is that somebody painting something on the screen?
But the problem is, that means the temperature is rising still. That's the last thing we need. We need the temperature to sink below 0.
Yeah, to think that they're even having... Look at the wind. You know, and the wind doesn't do any favors to the ice.
Yep.
The wind gives it a lot of ripple effect, and the water going down, it's going to make it bumpier.
It'll at least help dry the water onto the ice, a little bit of wind chill, but the refrigeration plant will be working overtime to keep this alive. Ben Sanford there in the
Peter Van Vies
jacket. Peter Van Vies with his young daughter.
He's got both his daughters here.
Yeah, both FIBT members. And lots of fans out watching the action here. I'm sure they're glad it's not pouring with rain like it was a little earlier this morning. I'm sure the Ice Meister is glad it's not pouring with rain like it was this morning.
We saw Ralph scurrying around the venue.
Yeah, I mean, those guys, you know, we talked about Tony Carlino and his crew in all the snow in Lake Placid. These guys have got exactly the opposite problem, but it's the same end effect. You're working night and day to try and keep the track alive and keep it raceable. Yeah, they're the unsung heroes, like the corner workers in auto racing, the track workers here. They do so much to make this sport possible.
There's Peter Van Wees's wife right there. Is that who that's not Wolf, no?
I haven't seen Wolfgang Hopper here.
I've seen Hopper.
Oh, you've seen him here? I didn't see him yet. So Sandra Kyriasis is here as well, local heroine. I haven't seen her. She's been up in that little glass VIP box, enjoying watching the action from above the track rather than inside it. Now, Holcomb being very cautious there. That ice sheet is absolutely glass. It's covered in water. Altenberg, Germany, blustery, blowy day. Rain, thankfully, has finished, but the ice is not holding up especially well. Chris Spring returning with Derek Plug, two of the four-man crew that wrecked heavily here in December 2011, back for the first race.
I don't think Derek was on I think Derek was here, but not on the sled that day. But boy, it was horrific. Talked to Chris Spring, though, like we did this week. Another day at the office for him.
Yep.
He was very positive. What a competitor. What respect the bobsled world has for him. He could have very easily skipped the race like teams like Korea did. People that know that, you know, the American team, rumor has it, wasn't going to come here because all the 5 of the 6 drivers never been here. They came, and every one of them crashed, but Holcomb. The Americans had big success yesterday in the Alana Myers gold medal in the women's bob.
But John, at this level, you can't afford to have a bogey track. You can't allow a track to become a bogey track. You've got to conquer them all.
Well, as we said, we think the track gave up its best times to the first sleds down. And all these guys want to do now is hang in there. And if Chris Spring hangs in there like 9th or 10th, he'll go with a fresher track than the guys coming behind him in the second run. He might be able to move up a couple spots.
Well, that's absolutely true. Let's take a look down at the bottom. He comes in 11th, 57.62. So we're just seeing slower and slower runs, slower and slower ice, off not particularly slower starts.
Well, he had the 9th best start, so when you see somebody with a great start, which...
Well, Oscar's Melbardis, he went 3 sleds earlier, and he has a great start, so he probably is the last guy to get real speed out of this ice.
Well, the German coming up here pretty quick. Look at the start time. Derek Plug in, down, watch his arms come over, bury himself in there. Watch the crossover from 11 to 12, the take on, he got on there as early as you can. His head way up, though. Look at that, he's way up, almost near his chin. Chris Spring. Derek Plug. He's a character.
Yes, they are. They're all characters. Larger than life. So too is this kid, Oskars Kybermanis of Latvia, with Vairis Leiboms behind him. Latvians crashed their last race in the 4-man in Calgary. Big 4-man wreck.
So that's a good start. But he doesn't really have a great instinct yet. He's only been driving for like the 2nd year. You're talking about throwing himself out on the World Cup circuit, a couple of Europa Cups, and they brought this guy around. And they say, like Melbardis, great promise for this guy, but of course when you make mistakes like that at the top of the track, it doesn't help your time at the bottom, and that doesn't help it either. 3,500's back's not bad. Speed, very suspect.
Yeah, not great speed into the Kreisel and on the exit. Not great speed either.
64 though. This could have kept in the top 7. Unless he makes mistakes like that right there again. Watch him roll here.
Down to 8th place. Looking like slipping out of the top 10 at the moment. 1:14 is not good speed. Slowest we've seen so far. But hands on to 8th.
That track on the bottom part of the track, it's just...
It's like glue, isn't it?
Glue, it's just slow. Because he should have been, he was only 6,500s behind And he ends up 120. He lost twice as much time in the last 300 meters.
Yeah. Well, at the bottom there, if it's not standing water, it's frost. So it's going to get you either way and slow you down.
Well, this is a big mistake here. This is the same thing that, who was it, Holcomb? No, Cunningham did that.
Cunningham
hit that same spot. This is not ping pong or ping ball rabbit. I mean, that's you can't do that.
And again, off 14, big hit.
Look at the runners. He's trying to get over here in the takeout, and he hits the takeout before he gets the wall before the takeout.
Well, again, first trip here as a driver for him. Simone Bertazzo's been here before, though. He knows this track. This is the first World Cup race of the season for the Italian sleds, though. And Francesco Costa behind him. Graham Richardson now coaching the Italian drivers.
Costa, he's back driving that Ferrari sled.
Yes, he is.
He didn't drive that last year. Bertazzo. In the heyday for Bertazzo was 2007 World Championships, bronze medal in two-man. Won a couple events on his home track in Cesana.
Yeah.
The track's now closed.
2011, one in Lake Placid in the two-man as well, previous season. Previous year, December 2010.
That's when he was getting some good stuff. Look at these lines. Now he's down 58 on some K, should go to 80 at the most, 90. Yeah. But what we've seen in the bottom part of the track, he's probably going to be a second down here. There, look at the time go away.
11th at the start.
Look at these lines. This is perfect lines.
Look how
look at the rudder tips. Look at this. This is textbook. He's going to be 1.3 down here at the bottom. He's going to lose another 30 hundredths here. 1.2. Unbelievable how much time he lost to the bottom.
And yet, still in 8th place. Yeah. And that could be good enough for top 10 in the second heat.
Yeah, he definitely could move up in the second run. Bad ice to work with. Yep. Listen, see how soft the ice is.
Yeah, normally it's got a really harsh edge when the brakes dig in.
Look at these lines. There's the DKV logo, perfect. He hits that just the bottom part of the D. Pressure point. Look at the brakeman back there. Costa buried, which is what he should be doing. Costa's a big boy, rugby player.
Look at the slush down there. There's Kathleen Martini watching the action from local boy Albrecht Klammer. Brand new driver to the World Cup. This is his first ever World Cup start on his home track.
Pretty big boy, too. Should kind of start.
Look how smoothly they get in off a 5:29 getaway. That's not bad.
Now, this will be a good telltale sign of how bad the track is. There's no way this kid should be more than a second down.
You want to bet he's driven here in the rain? I'm sure he has. Lots of times.
3/10 down. That's relative to the start. That's normal. Probably 45 at the next clock.
7th place at the moment. Let's see if he can make it into the top 4 or 5 by the bottom. He's 8th. He's drifting away. 1:10.5.
This looks like another 1.2, 1.25 down on the bottom part of the track. Here's the time, just bleeding away. These are good lines. So
same as Simone Bertazzo. Good lines, not finding good speed. 1:16.4. He's pretty much level pegged with the Italian in terms of pace.
Yeah.
7th place, just ahead of Bertazzo at the line, is Klammer. I wonder if he's ever been 1.1 off the pace here.
Really? Look at this start.
Do you think? Well, listen, Nico Walter came down 56.2. He's just come down 57.1. I bet there's not 9/10 of a second between them in normal conditions.
Maybe 900ths between them. Watch him get in here at the start. Look at the size of his legs. Look at him. Look at that powerful last step.
Power step, yeah.
Boy, oh boy, that's a technique. Look at the way the arms come in and around by the brakeman. Now look at these drive. I mean, the driving here. Look at the spray coming off the runners. Hardly any textbook lines. Just the track's got nothing left. But he could have a chance to move up second run.
Paired Hefty, the race leader from Nico Walter, the local hero. Oscar's Melbardis is in third, our joint World Cup leader. 14 sleds down, 10 still to come, only 6 spots left in the race. One of those surely should go to Russia's Alexei Stulnev, with Alexei Zaitsev behind him. Second of our 3 Russian sleds.
Spikes, 16th of an inch spikes give him the grip to run across the ice. Start time, suspect. Now he's got to be perfect. Have a chance to be in the top 10. Little flop there. Watch a little crossover there. Perfect. 7. 8. And watch the runner tips here, the exit of 9. Pretty good. Not a lot of wrong with this trip. He's already a second down. You know, take what the track gives you. Oh, he's on the wrong side of that curve coming in. Extra steering, speed, 3 kilometers down.
800s in front of Chris Spring, 14th and 15th.
All they can do is look on and go.
Well, now, pretty much, what your start number is, that's where you're going to be at the bottom of the track, because that's the way the ice is degrading.
The only person in the top 10 with a double-digit start time is Bertazzo's in 9th. Kieber Manis is in 10th. He had the second best time, so that's about driving.
Yeah.
Look at this come over at 11, 12. Look how low he is. Look at the articulation on the sled. See the split in the sled there? That's
really hits 12 hard there as he takes on just a little late out of 11. Down at the bottom a second, splashed through that puddle.
Oh, yeah, it's unbelievable.
That's what's slowing you down. Same as it does when you drive through standing water in your car. You don't think it affects the bobsleigh any less.
Boy, when you're dealing with hundreds of seconds.
Loic Kosterg returns to World Cup action. Bruno Mijon coaching the French drivers. Another update on the French sled as well. And Roman Heinrich, his regular brakeman behind him.
Pretty good year for the French last year.
Look how far
and
it's
the push
run.
bar came down.
Yeah, look how far Roman Heinrich runs it almost down into turn 1.
That doesn't do you any good. You run that far, you almost pull the sled backwards. So that's not a rookie mistake either. He's been out here before.
Well, the battle now, John, is to get into the top 20. We've got 8 sleds left, 4 spots in the race.
Looking pretty good here. 75 down, that's, you know, that's going to give him a chance. 15.
Time still in the 110s, the speeds.
Watch out here. It's so soft, it's hard to make a mistake and not be able to steer out of it.
Almost to the 10th, the same speed that everyone is getting through the Kreisel. And at the bottom, 116.1, 116.2, no one can go faster.
14, okay. That's probably going to, that's good enough to get him into the
Well, that's
20.
2 sleds behind him of the 4 he needs. So in the drop zone at the moment, Alexei Stulnev of Russia and Chris Spring of Canada.
Boy, there's not going to be much of a breakage stretch left. And tomorrow the 4-mans come out and they really got to put the brakes. So watch what happens here. Now the driver's in, the brakeman should be in now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 more steps. That's what caused him. He was pushing past the drive lines.
And the brakeman's, the driver's handle was caught up on the wall. That dragged speed out of the sled as well.
Not good.
Well, next up is another World Cup debutant. We have 3 more in the field. This is Maxim Adrianov of Russia, with Kirill Antuk behind him, whose name we've seen before in Russian bobsleds. But Adrianov, brand new driver to the World Cup.
Track and field sprinter, like everybody in the Russian program.
26-year-old from Krasnoyarsk. And And here's the tip of their development iceberg right now. Let's see what he's got.
Same thing.
Skid and gets dragged along the wall as well, the starting handle.
Had a decent start time, too. You know, I was pretty impressed when these new Russians came in, did their headshots with us. You ask them, what does it mean to be a part of the Russian program? And we ask them to speak in Russian. And they say the Russian word for honor.
Yeah.
They say one word. And it's almost like they're all programmed to say it because they're all in the room by themselves. They aren't. These are good lines.
Well, I think they understand, you know, to be part of a big program like the Russian bobsled team is an honor.
They won double gold medal at the
privilege.
Sochi Winter Olympic Games. Yeah.
109.8. Now he's 2 kilometers an hour down at the moment, but still in 11th place, off 7th best at the start.
He could get to 130. He could stay. He could beat Holcomb here.
He'll be in the top 20, no question.
Yeah, he beat
10th
Holcomb.
place at the line. That's a really good run.
Considering the mishap at the start.
And considering this is not a top 10 track, that's a good drive. That he could pick up a spot or two in Heat 2 as well.
From 10th to 13th Holcomb, the 4 sleds are separated by like 400s.
Yeah.
27, 28, 29, 31. There's the start mishap. Watch how many steps. Drivers in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He only took 5 steps, but he still altered the sled as he got in.
Driver didn't get in really that fast either. The handle could have come down maybe a fraction earlier, but...
These are good lines.
Yep.
It's a good debut for him.
Hung up a little on the exit of 12, but no major dramas.
Well, if I'm Chris Spring, I'm starting to get nervous.
Well, there is Adrianov. First ever World Cup trip. Was it good? Next up, Benny Meyer of Austria. Saw his younger brother Rafael in the men's skeleton race earlier. He's got Marcus Sammer behind him. Another first World Cup start this season for the Austrians.
We asked these guys who their favorite athletes were, and they're both... Oh, they get out of there.
It's like those grooves
What's that skier's name from Austria? Hermann Meyer?
Oh, Hermann Meyer? Yeah, I think they may have heard of him.
A lot of Austrians saying Hermann Meyer is their favorite athlete worldwide.
Like we always say, there's only 3 winter sports in Austria. Alpine skiing, and alpine skiing.
You got there. 5,700s, that's about normal. Benny took his first trips in 4-man this week. I don't think he crashed this week. One of the few guys, and he's a rookie. He might have been here before. I don't know. Second down.
18th place at the moment. He's the slowest of our sleds. He needs to find something very special.
Wrong side here. Watch out. No, it's
That's
so
not
slow.
bad.
No, it's so slow.
Yeah, 3Ks down on even an average speed at the moment. He's going to struggle to make the top 20. 1:15.1 at the bottom. Goodness me.
Yeah, he had the 10th best start time, though. I'll give him credit for that.
Yeah.
Beat a lot of guys like Holcomb.
You know, that was the good bit on the run. The rest is bad news, I'm afraid. 107, 108, 115, that's not good speed anywhere. And not catastrophic mistakes either. You know, track's not giving much speed away, and he couldn't find the little there was.
Yeah, there's nobody rocked out of that top 5 here. We're just fighting for the final spots. Look at the runner team. He's on the right side. He should be on the left side. Now he's trying to come over to get on the take on the curve where you get on. He came over. Look at the angle he's coming over at. Yeah. You're coming across the ice. That's not what you want to do.
See the marks they're leaving in the water on the wet ice as well. New young fans joining the throng, and another team returning to World Cup action. Didn't go to North America, the Czechs. Jan Verber and Dominic Succi. I was saying to him, what's new in the program? He said, well, we've got a new mise en cowl on the sled. Last year's really didn't work. This year seems to be finding more speed for them. Now this Czech, John, this Czech sled, we always say makes a different noise. It's a Dresden sled. I said, is it one of the last ones before the factory closed yard last year? He said, no, it's a 2000 sled based on a 93 design.
When I was here at the World Championships in 1990, that's right after the wall came down and they started selling these Dresden sleds. We went down with the CBS crew to film where they make them, and it was an East German aircraft manufacturing plant, and on one side were sleds, and then if you look on the other side, there was a MiG.
Yep.
I was like, wow. And
can we take the MiG? That'll be quick off the start.
It was also during the Gulf War, so it was a little difficult times when we were here, but
108.4, not bad speed from the Czechs.
Vreebra's pretty good.
He's got some good driving lines on his day, definitely.
He's got the slowest start time. Watch out here.
Huge
roll in
skid.
there. Got away from him a little bit. Start time, though.
Big mistake might drop him out of the top 20. He was
Probably
ahead of the Austrians. He still is by 700s, and maybe that 700s is enough.
He's got.
So who's going to knock him out? From the 5 sleds remaining,
I don't know.
maybe one,
He's got a chance.
maybe none. Yeah, he
He's got
could
a
be in.
chance. He could be in.
Jan Verber, 18th place then of our 19 sleds so far. Benny Meyer in 19th place for Austria.
Got a little ooh-pa-pa music going on.
See the way the slide develops, the big fat runners on the back for low friction.
But you see you can see the brakeman's shoulders though too. See, we shouldn't see him.
It's such a high shot though. You know, our tower's 20 feet.
No,
up,
right here
so.
you see him again though. You can see his helmet bouncing
Well, again,
around.
that's the bounce there on that.
Yeah, look at him come up. See that? Look,
joint.
you could see a lot of him
Yeah, yeah.
back there. That's not our cameras. You don't see many.
Yeah.
So we'll have to give him. He'll watch this, I'm sure, delayed.
And he'll come to you next week and say, hey! Next up, another World Cup debutant, Markus Treichel of Austria, with Franz Esterhammer behind him. 2 newcomers to World Cup racing.
Esterhammer is a rugby player. And this is a pretty good story. This isn't his debut. Austrians are coming. They got guys driving the sleds, which they hadn't had in the past. Those are very good start times, though. But the guy that was braking for Benny Mayer, Marcus Sammer, he'll drive next week in the Königsegger.
Nice.
They switch off.
There you go. That's what you need to do. Same as everybody else, is get the good brakemen and start them driving as well. Well, 5:49 start is going to be the real problem here for Markus Treichel. 1:08.8 is not bad speed.
Yeah, there's no danger zone on this track. This track that they call the Darlington of bobsledding, track too tough to tame because it's so soft ice.
Yeah, the problem is you're not used to it, and so you can still make the mistakes. You know, Matthias Benisch, one of the most experienced drivers ever on this track, rolled a sled in turn 1, which is why it's named after him. So never forget that an ice track can get you anywhere. 58.38 for Markus Treichel, shakes his head. I think he's right. If he doesn't think that's good enough for a top 20, I think he may well be right.
Well, the 20th best start time, he's in 20th place. And let him drive off, 13. Bang. Not what you want to do, coming uphill there. Another skid still going. There's our standings.
Yeah, Bert Hefty still the race leader. Nico Walter, Oskars Melbardis, the top 3. That much not going to change, not in this run anyway. The battle now, after 20 sleds have completely completed the course safely, is for the remaining 4 to try and break into that top 20. So now it is bump somebody, go fast or go home time for Lukas Schnitzer and Constantino Ugi. Again, formerly World Cup sliders, didn't go to North America. This is their first World Cup start of the season.
No mishap at the start other than their time. Another tap there out of curve 1. That's a no-no. Pretty loud. Pretty loud sound. We just got a great sound in the truck.
Yeah. It gives you a good feel of what the sleds sound like when you're close quarters to the track. They really do have this deep, chesty rumble as they come by.
Took a lot of that ice on that 11. 13 runner tips. Not bad. Speed way off.
Yep.
This will not be a top 20 run.
Well, he's 20th at the moment, just ahead of Markus Treichel, but not by very much.
Wow. Fooled me there at the bottom.
Yeah. 2 tenths behind Benny Meyer, but he bumps the second Austrian sled. Markus Treichel is out of the race, as Lukas Schnitzer does exactly what he needed to do. somehow put in the 20th best run.
Watch the sled exit the curve, the take-ons where you get on, the outlets where you get off. He got off too early. He banged the right-hand wall, puts him in a skid, and the next take-on, he's skidding and has to steer too much. More time lost. That's why he's in 20th place.
So 3 sleds to go, and again, teams returning to World Cup action after not going to North America. This is Dorin Grigore of Romania and Florin Craciu in his regular brakeman. And the Romanian girls had a really good run in yesterday's women's race.
Notice the driver starts up front, doesn't start from the back block. Another old Dresden sled. 22nd best start.
Well, Maria Constantin, I think, was her World Cup best result yesterday. 8th place in both heats. Really good result for her.
Not only is this loud, it's a couple bad cuts. Yeah, he's a second back now. He's going to have all he can do to get in the top 20. 131 now.
Points a big skid down into the Kreisel. 108.8 is not bad. 109.4, that's pretty decent. He's got a little more speed than the sleds around him, but he's still in 22nd.
22nd best start time. You know what I say, if it's 22nd best start, you're probably going to be 22nd at the bottom.
Yeah, the speed's gone away off a 5:61 start. He comes home 21st. Just outside the race, 58.
100
yeah.
Ahead of the 22nd sled. 1400ths out of the top 20.
Missed the cut realistically by getting off for 0.2 of a second, and that's not a tiny amount in this sport.
Chris Spring will be, he's guaranteed to be in the field now. It's up to Jan Vibra, Meyer. Look at the late here out of 4 to 5. Boy, up top, you just can't make any mistakes to have a chance at the bottom.
That's for sure. Well, 2 sleds still to come, and from Poland, Maciej Luti with Krzysztof Tyzlowski behind him. Tilkowski, rather. Krzysztof, newer brakeman in the setup. Maciej Luti used to be Poland too. Now, with Dawid Kupczyk having retired, he is the Polish team, making his first World Cup start of the season.
Start time, 20th, 2500ths off. Now, no mistakes here. He's got a chance. Clean, decent. Watch the crossover here. Not bad. He's going to really need the perfect straightaway to set himself up for Kreisel. Drift, second back. He's got a chance here, getting that top 20. Pretty good lines.
18th place at the moment.
These are pretty good lines coming off this position.
Needs good speed here though. 1:14.8 might just be enough to do it.
This is pretty good.
This will push out Lucas Schnitzer of Italy, and he is in 18th place, so there is still speed to be found, just enough in the track.
Yeah, 20th best start time, finishes in 18th. So Benny Meyer is now on the bubble. There's one sled left to go. That's
and it is a World Cup debutant.
Rookie.
Yeah, Great Britain development driver.
Start times. Get in. Look how quick the brakeman was in there when the driver was in.
Yeah.
Which, to me, you should be doing that in this track. Look at the lines. Can we see anybody behind it? No, the brakeman's tucked in there nice. Good lines all the way down the track.
Yeah. And that's what keeps the speed in the sled. Final sled on the ice then will be Great Britain development driver Ollie Biddulph. In the red cap on the left is coach Lee Johnson. Pete Gunn, the head coach of British Bobsleigh. He's got Jordan Small in behind him. This young man from Taunton making his World Cup debut here.
Well, one sitting there talking to Ala yesterday, not a very big guy. 16th best start.
Wide eyes, 5:36 getaway. That might really help them. He needs a good trip here.
Needs to be really, really, really quiet. Oh, that wasn't. He skidded there. Watch out, hitting the takeout here. No.
Crashed in training. Let's hope he can get this down neat and tidy.
A lot of people crashed in training.
Oh, yeah.
Watch out here.
Big tap and a skid.
Yeah, a couple
Speed onto the Chrysler will tell us all we need to know. Needs to be high 108s. 104. He's not going to make the race.
Skid, watch out here. Boy, he got away with that. That's the worst lines we've seen so far.
Yeah.
He's not down yet. There's still one more little touch. If he gets over this right side, it's going to be a problem.
Well, again,
look at him steer around the bottom of that curve.
Very different conditions, very different feel to the sled from anything he's experienced this week. And a 60.41 slide. Well, he got it down without parking it. 24th starter, 24th finisher, Ollie Biddulph makes his World Cup debut on a pretty tricky Altenberg track, and that rounds out our first heat. As Jordan Small helps push the sled up to the finish. That's what having less than 104 Ks at the bottom does for you when you get on the brakes. Almost not needed.
Watch this, he hits a take out of the curve of 12 before he's supposed to get in there. They both bounce up, and now the big skid. Look at something flopping on the bottom part of the sled. You see that?
A little bit of rubber that covers the articulation for aerodynamic purposes just looks a little loose.
Well, as hard as he hit, that might have loosened it up.
Yeah, maybe so, maybe so. Well, at least they didn't use their helmets.
Ah, bad Hefty. Well, he's just hanging around, not doing four-mans, just doing two-man competitions. And he has the fourth best start, but boy, did he drive that Cydia sled to the bottom.
Leads by 0.2 of a second from local hero Nico Walter. Walter nearly 2/10 ahead of Oscar's Melbardis. But I think we're going to have a real battle on our hands for the medals. So join John Morgan and me, Martin Haven, for our second and deciding heat coming up very shortly here from Altenberg in Germany at 2 Central European time, 1 Greenwich Mean Time. There is your leaderboard. The gaps look huge on this track. They ain't. Anything could happen in the next half hour. Well, it won't happen in the next half hour, but you get the drift. We'll go into our final heat at 2 o'clock local time with the top 20 going down to 1. So Benny Meyer will be first off, and Switzerland's Bert Hefty will defend his lead. The final 4 sleds will not take part in Heat 2. They will join the spectators at the side or possibly at the top of the track. So, Heat 2 comes up shortly. Stay with us. More action from Altenberg, Germany.
Hier am DKW Eiskanal. Einfach rechts und links einhängen, bis du anwärmen, wobei das Wetter ist ja ideal, besser kann es nicht sein. Also, halbe Stunde Geduld und dann kommt die große Finale.